Hello, I'm Alisa Stovall, consultant with the Indiana IEP Resource Center here at our 2017 Research to Practice Conference. With me is Dr. Cathy Pratt, one of our presenters at the conference, so welcome.
Thank you.
And thanks for taking a few minutes to chat with me here. Lots of activities going on with your resource center, the Indiana Resource Center for Autism. Mm-hmm. And can you tell us about some of those activities?
Well, let me just tell you about a few new things for us. We've become very concerned about the fact that we know that 80% of children on the spectrum have co-occurring health or mental health issues. And what we have found is that oftentimes our individuals, our professionals who work in community mental health centers are not prepared to work with children who have a developmental disability or have an autism spectrum disorder. As a result of that, families, when they have a child who becomes aggressive at home, have oftentimes two options, and that is either call the police or take their child to the emergency room. I also know that as I've gone into schools, what I hear from principals over and over again is that the children who are really challenging them are these children who have mental health issues. And these are children from a very early age who are being diagnosed with bipolar, oppositional defiant disorder. And so realizing the concern and really looking at how we build capacity. Because what I also found is that in many of our districts, there's a behavior consultant like Kelly Dora, who you just interviewed, who they're the people that are expected to take a magic wand and solve every behavior problem in that district. And they're oftentimes alone, and they don't have other people to consult with around it. So we decided to, first of all, do a listserv, is bring together the behavior consultants. For years, we've had a listserv of autism leaders in our state. And that's been a really lovely community of practice. So we decided to do that same thing with behavior consultants. So I asked the directors to give me the names of behavior consultants in their districts, and within about 2 months, we had 180 names of folks who were interested in that. So out of that, we started thinking again, how could we build more capacity in our schools to look at this mental health issue in our schools that obviously is taking us down. And so we started looking at a number of activities and wrote a grant and have been really kind of focused on putting together a project and are calling the project the Indiana School Mental Health Initiative. And we'll be doing workshops, we'll be doing meetings with people. We're going to really be focused on building capacity in schools and with our behavior consultants, and also working with our systems of care in the state of Indiana.
That can only be good for students and their families.
Mm-hmm. And even though, we are the Indiana Resource Center for Autism, and obviously I care about the children with autism, I think that this will be for everybody. We're not just looking at children with autism, we're looking at how to support all kids and to support all staff who are working with children who have really pretty significant behavioral issues. Kind of two other initiatives that we've been involved with is we've been running along with Jim Monsaldo from the Center for Education and Lifelong Learning a camp called Camp Yes and it's an improv camp. And the improv camp is for adolescents, and we also train professionals how to do improv. And what we're finding is that that speech clinicians are embedding that within their practices. And it is so fun to see, it's a week-long camp, that how the children perform the first day is so different than the way they perform the last day. So we started out with 1 week of camp, and I think we're up to about 3 or 4, and then we did something during the school year as well. And the last thing is that one of my colleagues, Christy Laughlin, is very concerned about early intervention. And we know that early intervention is so critical for kids. And we've also become really concerned with the fact that we know that the research tells us that for those children who utilize augmentative alternative communication devices, by the time they go to secondary programs, only about 10% of them are still using their devices. By the time they get to adult services, only about 10% of that 10% are using those devices. So we're really looking at how to really build communication skills for kids early on.
Well, those sound like some projects that are really going to make meaning for a lot of families and a lot of students. And
we're excited.
Thanks for sharing this with us today.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.